What is going on, guys? Welcome back to another episode of the Bible Vlog. Today, we are picking it back up in chapter 25 of the book of Matthew. A lot of really good stuff today, so let's go ahead and get started. Chapter 25 is one long page of red font. See what I mean? Literally, the entire chapter is just Jesus speaking. So in this chapter, Jesus goes through and he tells three different parables. And what's interesting is that all three of them are tied to his second coming. Now, the overwhelming emphasis of this chapter is on the idea that we need to be ready for Jesus' return. So the first story that Jesus tells is actually about the wise and foolish virgins. Now, it's a bit of a cultural story that's a little harder for us to relate to today. But the idea is that these women are waiting for the groom to come and to meet them for the wedding. Now, as day turns into night, these women fall asleep, but they all have lampstands to be able to see at night. Well, half of the women brought extra oil for their lamps and the other half didn't. And so as some of their fires begin to go out, some of them go back home to get extra oil, but while they're gone, the groom comes and they miss him. So Jesus uses this as an illustration of his own coming for his church. Now in verse 13, Jesus really sums up the whole point of the story, so let's look at it here. Watch therefore, for you know neither the day nor the hour in which the Son of Man is coming. You know, I've known so many people over the years who have really thought of their Christian walk as a kind of get out of hell free card. You know, they think, well, as long as I make it into heaven, then that's really all that matters. So they go out and they live their life in a way that you would really never even know that they were a Christian. And they think, well, at least I'm saved. It's a really foolish way to live. And this is exactly what Jesus was describing in this parable. That people live this way unaware that the groom, or in this case Jesus, is coming back at any moment. All right, the next story that Jesus told is called the parable of the talents. Now, a talent was considered a huge amount of money. Basically, it was 6,000 denariuses. 6,000. Now, we covered this a couple chapters ago, but a denarius was about 1 day's wage for a person during this period. So a talent is almost 20 years of life savings for these people. It's a massive amount of money. So in this story that Jesus tells, he says a ruler is traveling to a far country, calls his servants together. The first servant he gives 5 talents to, the second one he gives 2 talents to, and the last servant he gives 1 talent. Now, he does this based on each one's abilities, and after giving them the money, he leaves. Well, finally, after a lot of time has passed, this ruler returns and he meets with his servants. So look at verses 20 through 29. So he who had received 5 talents came and brought 5 other talents, saying, Lord, you delivered to me 5 talents. Look, I have gained 5 more talents besides them. His Lord said to him, well done, good and faithful servant. You were faithful over a few things. I will make you ruler over many things. Enter into the joy of the Lord. He also, who had received 2 talents, came and said, Lord, you delivered to me 2 talents. Look, I have gained 2 more talents besides them. His Lord said to him, well done, good and faithful servant. You have been faithful over a few things. I will make you ruler over many things. Enter into the joy of the Lord. Then he who had received the 1 talent came and said, Lord, I knew you to be a hard man, reaping where you have not sown and gathering where you have not scattered seed. And I was afraid and went and hid your talent in the ground. Look, there you have what is yours. But his Lord answered and said to him, you wicked and lazy servant. You knew that I reap where I have not sown and gather where I have not scattered seed. So you ought to have deposited my money with the bankers, and at my coming I would have received back my own interest. Therefore take the talent from him and give it to him who has 10 talents. For to everyone who has, more will be given, and he will have abundance. But from him who does not have, even what he has will be taken away. Now this story, the first time I read it, thought it sounded really harsh and unfair to this last servant. But you know what Jesus is describing here? Our lives. God has given each one of us unique gifts, callings, abilities, and the question is, are you actually using them? Listen, let me be real honest with you. The vast majority of people float through life this exact way where they never fully realize all that God has called them to do. Instead, we live for things like our favorite TV shows, the weekend, the next concert, the next movie, the next relationship, whatever. We never actually seek out how to use what God has given us. Guys, let me encourage you in this. Take some time each day to focus on what you feel God has given you. I truly believe there is so much untapped and wasted potential from people who never fully entered in to everything that God wanted for them. Don't let that be your story. Seek God daily and ask him what he wants you to do. The Bible says your word is a lamp unto my feet and a light unto my path. God will lead you and guide you one step at a time into all that he has for you if you'll just take the time to seek him and his will for your life. Guys, we have come to the close of chapter 25. Some of these longer ones, it's just impossible to cover everything in the chapter, which is why it's so important you read along with us. All right, tomorrow we are picking it right back up with chapter 26. We are almost to Jesus' death and ultimately resurrection. It's amazing stuff coming up. Don't want you to miss a second of it. As always, hope you all have an amazingly beautiful day. I love you guys. We will see you back here tomorrow.